YouTube, what's poppin'? It's your boy Ink in the Brain. We back at it like a bad habit, man. So today, man, I'm gonna go on a mini rant. I'm gonna go on a mini rant on Eboni K Williams in her most recent comments, but it's not gonna be what you think, right? And I'm gonna touch on just some stupid stuff that I hear dudes say online. You know what I mean? Because you hear a lot about women being delusional these days, and obviously they are. But some of the things I hear that you men say online, bro, it has me scratching my head, and so I gotta call it fair on both sides, right? So that's what I'm gonna talk about today. So Eboni K Williams, if you don't know who she is, Google her. She's like a 40-year-old black chick. She's an attorney. You know, she's established. She's been on TV and things like that, and I remember seeing her when I was locked up. Like when I used to watch TV, you know, I would see her pop up on certain shows and different, different news outlets and things like that. And I'm like, okay, you know, she cool, she cute and all that. You feel me? So that's how I came about knowing who she is. But she's worth $3 million. Like I said, you know, she's an attorney, went to law school, got a JD and everything, right? So she goes on an interview with Ileana Van Zandt, asks her if she would ever date a bus driver. Ebony basically says, you know, if he owns the bus or owns the bus company, then yeah, she maybe consider it. But other than that, hell no, she ain't fuck with no bus driver. And then men got all upset about this, and they just, she said she wouldn't date a bus driver. She wouldn't date a blue collar worker. She says she's better than a blue collar worker. And I'm like, where the fuck have y'all been for the last 20 years? You feel what I'm saying? This is nothing new. Hey man, look, maybe I'm showing my age. You know, I'm 36 years old, my old ass. But I remember when No Scrubs came out with TLC. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy who can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride. Trying to holler at me. Yeah, we don't want no scrub. Like, okay. So that was celebrated. You feel me? And it was like, okay, cool. And back then, you know, I maybe have been like 8 or 9 or something like that. I don't know how old I was, but even back then, I was like, okay, well, I can see why one wouldn't want to scrub. You feel what I'm saying? To me, I just took it on the chin, like, oh, okay, well, a woman don't want to scrub. It is what it is. Maybe I need to get my money up, or what do I need to do to get a woman? This is my mentality back then when I first heard the song, right? But I'm sure back then, men had their pennies in their blood. Like, oh, Left Eye said she wouldn't date a scrub. What the fuck? Matter of fact, yeah, because there was a group that came out with No Pigeons. There was a response song made called No Pigeons. So obviously, men felt a certain type of way about that back then, right? But fast forward to 2023, why is this such a surprise to men? A somewhat attractive, and she's 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? But a somewhat attractive chick who's pushing 40, who has a network of $3 million. Obviously, we know women are hypergamous, so they date up. You expect her to date a bus driver who maybe makes $60K a year? Are you fucking out your mind? Now, the beautiful thing about this is that men shouldn't, you should take what she said with a grain of salt, because if you've been playing the game where you go outside and actually talk to women, you really know that it really doesn't fucking matter what she says. Yeah, man, it don't matter what the bitch say. It matters what she do. You feel what I'm saying? She can say she wants a multimillionaire. She can say she wants somebody on the level and all that. But until she knocks one, that's a moot point. What tends to happen more times than not is a broke dude hollers at a chick like that, and he got maybe some charisma. He knows how to talk smoothly. Maybe he looks good and got his body game on point. He can knock that bitch. You feel what I'm saying? So it really doesn't matter what the fuck she says. It matters what the results say. You know what I mean? So yeah, she's delusional in that she thinks she can get a man on her level or higher with more money than she is, that's gonna stay faithful and all that. You feel what I'm saying? Which is not gonna happen, but that's fine. Let her be delusional. But just because she says she don't want to date a bus driver unless she owns a bus company, I really don't see nothing wrong with her saying that. Now, obviously, I know she's not going to get this guy. That's a different story. But her, what she wants is what she wants. And fellas, why do y'all talk all this shit about, women hitting the wall, being undesirable after they hit 35, you know what I mean, and all this shit, and, career women are unattractive, and which I actually do agree with some of these things. But I'm saying, you guys are saying these talking points, but then a bitch pushing 40 years old, you feel what I'm saying? A bitch pushing 40 years old, who says she wants these, all of a sudden, like, oh, Eboni K Williams wouldn't date a bus driver. Who gives a fuck what she wouldn't date? I don't give a fuck about what Eboni K Williams is. Well, she's 40 years old. Who gives a fuck about what a 40-year-old woman gotta say? That's my mentality. You know what I mean? Now, that's not to shit on older women, but in the same way as a man who's 5'4" or 5'5", who's making $40K a year, who's physically unattractive, and how women cast them, women completely disregard them and don't even see them. That's how I see older chicks in their 40s. I don't see a chick in their 40s who got kids or, a single mom who I don't even see them. So whatever they say, I don't give a fuck. Cool. You don't like black guys. Cool. You don't like black guys who've been to jail or been to prison. Cool. You don't like felons. Cool. You don't like men who don't make $1 million a year. Cool. I don't have no problem with that. Why? Because I don't see y'all anyway. So y'all got y'all worry about what this 40-year-old chick gotta say, who can't keep a man to save her life apparently, who had a white fiance and couldn't make that last. And y'all care about what her opinion on what the average guy's making. So y'all crazy, man, right? Now another thing is, men say some wild shit online. I'm just gonna keep it tall. I'm hearing men say, oh, black women are starting to buy houses at a high rate, and that's dumb because look at the eviction rates. Look at the eviction rates for black women. They have the highest eviction rates, yet they're buying all these houses and shit like that now. I'm like, okay, and so you're advocating. So you rather a bitch be a renter and get evicted, but once a bitch actually makes it to a point where she qualifies to buy a house and has the down payment to buy a house, she actually gets a house, and you shame her for that? Well, nigga, obviously she has the means to qualify for a loan. So why you mad at her for qualifying for a loan and buying a house? Just because these fucking retarded ass bitches get kicked out at a high rate as being renters, that doesn't necessarily mean that her house is going to get foreclosed on just because evictions are going up. That doesn't really correlate in my opinion. And even if it did, that's a stupid talking point to shame a chick for buying a house. You feel what I'm saying? And then I hear other black men saying this stuff online. Black men saying, being a homeowner is not a flex. Yeah, purchasing a house is not a flex. Purchasing a house is not a flex, fellas? That's what we're saying now? So being a renter is a flex? So let me get this. So let me get this right. Paying rent to your landlord, paying his mortgage, or if his house is paid off, you're just making his net worth go up, or you're paying down the debt on his mortgage, or just putting money in his pockets every month while he sits on his ass and just collects rental income on his rental property. That's a flex from your standpoint, being a renter. But being the landlord and actually buying property, that's not a flex? Help me understand that, fellas. Do I have this shit wrong? Now, I understand that you have to buy well. I understand you have to make the proper buying decision. I'm not saying to go buy a $500,000 house with a 6.5% interest rate, you know what I mean, and you're only making $100K a year or $90K a year. No, I wouldn't suggest that. But if you find a house that's a little 900 square feet house, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house for $250K or something like that, and you make $100K a year, or you make $70K a year, something like that, and the interest rate is 6%, cool. You know what I mean? It's about the numbers adding up. What are you paying for your rent right now? What would it be with a mortgage? You know what I mean? Interest rates, PMI, all that included. Now, look, I understand that having PMI and having a high interest rate isn't ideal. But if you're paying $1,600, $1,700 a month for rent and you're just throwing it out the window every month, and then your rent's going to increase every year after, versus having a mortgage that's $1,300 a month or $1,400 a month, and you're locked into that rate, what's the better buying decision? Now you're going to accrue equity. Now, like I said, you have to buy well. I'm not telling you to make a stupid purchasing decision. Obviously, do your due diligence. But for men to say renting is a better choice than home buying is just asinine to me. And fellas, us as black people have to get out this renter's mentality. Being a perpetual renter is going to be your fastest way to the bottom. You're not going to gain any equity renting, okay? So I'd rather you buy a property, even if it's on the high end of the market, right? Because nowadays, you're going to get incentivized higher to buy. So it's not just about the interest rate is high. I understand it's a scary thought to have a high interest rate. But like I said, don't buy a $400,000 house as a single man and you're only making, $60K a year. Be smart. Just do the math. But yeah, man. So for y'all to look, now I get it. Like I said, women are delusional. They have crazy high standards. But hey, I have crazy high standards too. Shit, I want a chick who's young, who's somewhat attractive, at least a 6. You know what I'm saying? With no kids. That alone makes me fucking delusional because most of your young, attractive chicks are gonna have kids. It just is what it is. That's what it is. But I understand that the chances of me taking a woman serious because of that are gonna be low. It is what it is. Now, if I was cool with dating a chick who's in her 30s, who had 1 or 2 kids, it's cool. I could find one of them chicks easily. Should be attractive too. But like I said, those chicks are invisible to me because that's just not what I'm looking for. You feel me? So I understand that my expectations are delusional somewhat as well. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it a buck. But to shame her, like I said, going back to Eboni K Williams, and I'll close out with this. To shame Eboni K Williams or any black woman, or really any woman for their standards is just dumb. Because if you don't understand how women operate now and it's 2023, you have a lot of work to do. And you have delusional thinking that women are just going to snap out of this modern mentality and go back to the 1950s when they was pregnant, barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Fellas, I would love that. I think a woman being pregnant and barefoot in the kitchen is one of the most sexiest things a woman can be. You know what I mean? Shit. But we're not going back to those days, fellas. These women have power, okay? They have political power. They're making more money now. They have more sexual options than ever before. You dig what I'm saying? Feminism is heavy. Shaming hoes is no longer a thing. So these women are sexually liberated. You have a globalized sexual marketplace. You know what I mean? So the local chick can get flown out to another state or another country to fuck with somebody of a higher status than your broke ass. That's the day we living in. You need to accept it. You need to get better. You need to work out every day, or at least 4 to 5, 3 or 4 times a week. You need to accrue more property. You need to accrue assets that's gonna gain equity over time. Okay. You need to get your net worth up, fellas. You need to earn more money. Now, I'm not shaming a brother for being a blue-collar worker, being a bus driver. That's cool. When I bought my first crib, man, I was selling insurance, making like 60, 70 a year. You know what I mean? On the low end. I was making more than that on the tail end of my career. But yeah, I wasn't making no crazy money when I bought my first property. So don't think that you can't buy property and move up in the world with being a 9-to-5 guy or a blue-collar guy or a bus driver. You feel what I'm saying? But you need to realize the times that we're in, and you need to realize that women never really fuck with broke guys like that anyway. It was just the economy wasn't so crazy how it is now. So back in the day, a man could support a family off 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year, and the woman could be barefoot in the house pregnant. You know what I mean? And it was good. But it's over with. It's over with. These women can, like I said, abundant in sexual options. They're not shamed for being hoes. Simps are running rampant. So the bitch can get pretty much whatever she wants if she wants it. If she wants it. And if she's willing to really how do I say this? Lower her ego a little bit. I won't even say lower her standards, just lower her ego a little bit. Because the fact of the matter is women want these high status guys, but want them to be loyal. Now, if they could just chuck up the fact that these guys are not going to be loyal, and he's going to step out on you every time and again, because your vagina is not going to be the only vagina he's going to want for the rest of his life, then women be able to get these guys relatively easily. But that's not going to happen because they're delusional, and they have this dumb way of thinking that this guy is going to be loyal. So yeah, fellas, and that's fine. All right, we accept women for who they are now. We're not going back to the 50s. You need to adapt. You need to become better. And yeah, women don't want broke dudes, man. So just get over it and step your game up, man. And don't shame these bitches for being who they are, because they are who they are. Just like how we want young, attractive women with no kids, they want tall, attractive men who are rich. All right, just like how they disregard short guys or guys who are broke and ugly, 5'3", how you're invisible to them. Well, certain women are invisible to us. The super ugly chicks, the chicks that are shaped like the capital letter P, fat bitches, baby mamas with a bunch of kids from different baby daddies. These women shouldn't even be on your radar either. So why do you give a fuck about what the guys say about you? All right, this is your boy Ink in the Brain, man. I'm out.